Chazak v'yamet libecha v'kaveh el Adonai. So sorry about that.
No, chas v'sholom. Thanks, Adele. Thank you. Chas v'sholom. Never be sorry. So I'm going to introduce now. First of all, let me just say thank you. I know we're like a little bit rushing today, but I know Chani Juravel had to get off the phone at a certain time. So I just want to, I want to introduce her. First of all, I want to thank again every single woman who comes on every single morning to teach us and learn with us. And this whole group is just unbelievable. So Chani Juravel is a popular lecturer and therapist living in Rockland County, New York. After attending Beis Yaakov Teacher Seminary in Jerusalem, she did her undergraduate degree in Brooklyn College and graduated work in Columbia University's Teachers College and Fordham University, where she received her LCSW. Chani has served in many roles in the world of education since 1983, from teacher to principal to consultant. Currently, she treats individuals and couples in her private practice, lectures and trains, consults in communities and schools worldwide, and is a columnist for Bina magazine. She combines Torah True Hashkafa with psychological insight in a way that makes her lectures and trainings so relevant and real. Some of Chani's talks can be found on Torah Anytime Ladies site and on aish.com. I feel so privileged, Chani. Thank you so much. I'm going to put myself on mute and go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for all the work that goes into this. I remember many years ago in seminary, my most favorite, beloved of mentors, Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Weiss, who came out of Germany and was one of the first pioneers of teaching and kiruv in such a relevant way. He used to say that Nishmas is the most powerful tefillah. He said the reason that it's not prescribed in the Siddur daily is because usually we don't have the time to do it justice by focusing on the words. And to see this group of women that's doing it justice is really remarkable. So we got some work to do. It's a week before Rosh Hashanah. It's hard to believe. So much has gone on the last couple of years, and where do we go from here? How do we get it right? That's always a woman's question, right? How do I get it right? Let's understand why often in life we don't get it right. There's a very puzzling part of Nevi'im Achronim, the latter prophets. We know that all of Navi, all of the prophets are given to us because of their relevance to our time. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been incorporated as part of the nevuah, as part of the prophecy that was maintained in our scriptures, because most was not maintained. It wasn't relevant forever. So there's this one portion where the Jews are scurrying around. They're really panicked because there's this impending doom of a possible war, and they're running around trying to strategize and trying to get things ready. And the prophet cries out to them, Lo zu haderech, that is not the way. Lo zu ha'ir, that's not the city. That's not the destination. So you're going about this all wrong. And Rav Shimshon Pincus asks there, what the relevance of that is to us. Why do I have to know the GPS of their time, right? Of why they were going wrong and what their planning was about. And he says that comment of the Navi is everything to us in life. Sometimes in life, we wonder why we're not getting something right. We're shooting for it, we're aiming for it, but the problem is we don't always know what it is. Lo zu haderech, maybe we're not on the right path because lo zu ha'ir, because we don't really have a clarity of what our destination is supposed to be. We come to this huge time of the high holy days, this potentially life-changing, life-defining time of the year. What's our goal? What are we going to call success if we do get it right by the end of Yom Kippur or by the end of Sukkot? What's the goal that we're trying to achieve through the high holy days? Is the goal to hear the shofar and be aroused on some level? Is the goal to be forgiven and pardoned and ask forgiveness in return? Is the goal the resolutions that I'm going to make and keep? Or is the goal, I think in all of our minds, that I'll get some of what I wanted for the last years, that keeps eluding me? So depending on my goal, that'll be how much I define success by the end of the process. Perhaps the reason we haven't found that we've gotten it right was because we haven't had the goal of an understanding of what the mission of Elul and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur really is and really isn't, in all honesty. So let's look at the prescriptive. God gives us the month of Elul, and the month of Elul, Aleph Lamed, Vav Lamed is the Hebrew spelling of Elul, is an acronym. And there's more than two, but there are two messages within that acronym that I want to focus on. One is, Ani Lidodi, I become my beloved's, Vidodi Li, and he then becomes mine. There's something about Elul where I learned that I could initiate, I could reach out to connect to God, and he then becomes mine in a deeper way. The second message in the acronym is, Umal Hashem. Hashem has the capacity to do a circumcision of sorts. Et levavcha, Aleph Lamed, your heart, v'levav zarecha, and the heart of your future descendants, of your children. That Hashem has the capacity, and this is another message in Elul, to literally transform my heart, to take off the outer layer, the hardened layer that's created some distraction and distance between me and him. So what's the goal of Elul? It's spelled out in the name of the month itself. The first goal is, I have to want Elul. And wanting Elul, wanting the high holidays, isn't about wanting the resolutions and the shopping list. Those could be part of my hopes and my dreams and aspirations for myself or for Hashem to do for me. But the truest goal that'll really clinch my success or feelings of success is Ani Lidodi. Can I get back that part of my heart, the essence of me that really connects to Hashem in a way that I initiate it? Because so often what keeps us away from any relationship is we're waiting to see how the other person does. We're waiting to see, does Hashem really love me? Does he really want me? Has he been there for me in a way that I could really buy into this? Now, so often when I'm working with couples and I'll ask them, what do you think each of you could shift, knowing what you know now about getting this relationship to a better place if it was all about you? Because we know that as uncomfortable as it is, one person could change a relationship. Very often I'll hear, well, let him do something and then I'll see, right? Or if she proves, then, and that's so human. But in our relationships, it's when we invest and we take the first step that we really prove what that relationship is to us in a way that comes back to us so much bigger. Nowhere is that as obvious as in our relationship with Hashem. Now, there's this beautiful, beautiful book of Shir Hashirim, the Song of Songs, which is really an analogy of our love, the love between us and Hashem. It's a love song and just very, very cryptic, but very powerful. And there are two psukim, there are two sentences in there that sound almost identical. One is this sentence that Ani Lidodi Vidodi Li, I am to God, and he then becomes mine. But there's another that's very similar. Dodi Li Va'ani Lo. My beloved is to me, and I am to him. It's interesting. The first has become so popular, right? It's on people's rings and art and ksuvos, and we have it as this, message of Elul. But the second never really made it to the hit parade of psukim. So not many of us have artwork with Dodi Li Va'anilo. My beloved is to me and I am to him. As beautiful as that is, that seems to be my goal. If my beloved was to me, for sure I'd be his, right? If he proved he loved me, I'm in. Not really. One of the most wonderful commentaries on that, the Malbim says that those two psukim reflect two different times in our history of our relationship with Hashem. There are times in our history where Hashem proves himself to us with tremendous clarity, these huge revelations, Times like Har Sinai, when we saw Hashem, we were able to point to him. We saw him at the top of the mountain, and we felt his presence in a way that was indisputable. Times like crossing the Yam Suf, where we were able to point and say, Zek Haley, that's my God, V'anbehu, I'm very committed, I'll adorn him for my life. What happened in those times of history? They were really big aha moments, can't get bigger, but they dissipated. They didn't last. We didn't keep that high of crossing the Yam Suf. We were very confused and sort of muddled at times in the desert once we crossed. We didn't keep that high of the first occurrence of Har Sinai. Those first tablets were shattered. There was a golden calf made. Okay, it was the men's fault, let's be honest, but still. So it seems that when Hashem reveals himself to us, as powerful as that message is, as much as it plants seeds, it doesn't last in terms of real change in me. But then there are other times in history, says the Malbim, of Ani Ledodi. Those are times when there isn't clarity, when Hashem is not obvious in our life, and we feel that we miss him. Does that sound familiar? It sounds like the last couple of years, right? What's going on? Why am I so susceptible to every germ, to every crack in a foundation, to every bottleneck in a crowd? Why don't I feel him more obviously? Why am I not seeing those miracles? Why are there so many questions? And I feel something's missing. And I don't feel that sense of peace. I don't feel that sense of completion. And as much as there's so many magic wand wishes that I think I need to fill that, none of them work. And it's at those times where I say, Ani Ledodi, I have to reach out to him. I got to get him back and feel him more fully. And when I initiate that connection, in spite of the fact that it came at a time where there wasn't the revelation, Dodi Li, that's when he becomes mine in a way that is just incredibly forever. That second set of tablets, as much as they were not as perfect, they came after the flaw and they came after Hashem withdrew, and we had to beg for them back and yearn for them in our lives. That second set, as much as they were less than perfect, are still with us today because we made them happen in a way that was Ani Ledodi. And that, ladies, is the goal of Elul. So Umal Hashem has the capacity to circumcise my heart, to get me back to that core of who I really am, only after what? After I initiated the relationship by remembering who I really am. You know, there's a lot of I's that we have. We're told that a person has 3 names: the name that others give her, the names that the family gives her, the name that her environment gives her, the name that she knows herself by. Now, I know it's a morbid thought, but when you go to a funeral and all the speeches sound similar, you know that this is a special person because they really were who they were to everyone. Sometimes you're sort of disjointed. You know, who am I? Who am I? Am I the me that I am in that crowd or with this person or with this feeling? What does King David say? Va'ani, who is the truest me? Sifilasi. I am the me when I pray, when I connect to God. When I know myself through his eyes in a way that I can't run from, in a way that I know he sees my best self always by giving me forever second chances and other opportunities and seeing me as the me that I was at my height. That's how I want to see myself. Rav Hutner Zatzal, my father's Rosh Hashiva, said so beautifully that if you would dissect the heart of every Jew, no matter how far they are from living the truth, at the core of every Jew's heart is Emunah, is the clarity of knowing Ani Hashem, that Hashem is there for me and who he is in my life. And especially women, ladies, what's the bracha we make every day? Sha'asani kirtzono, you created me in your will. You fashioned me to be so similar to you, to be so in sync with you, that I am that same person that you created me as in the time of Adam and Chava. I still have that same ability to see you, to emulate you, to think like you, to get your messages more easily than men can. But sometimes I forget myself. My dentist has a sign in his office that you stare at while you're getting your cleaning. It says, ignore your teeth and they'll go away. Right? So it's the same with anything in us, that as much as we could have a power, we could have a capacity, as much as Hashem breathed it into us. And that's what the shofar is about. The Shlach HaKadosh says that why is the shofar so arousing? Because when the person blowing the shofar blows his air into the shofar and out comes that sound, it gives us a visceral reminder subconsciously of the moment when Hashem blew our neshama into us and we knew that that was what gave us life. Our connection to his force gave us life. That is the real us. Elul gives us the opportunity to remember who we are. And by doing that, to remember who God is in our life and to forge the connection that always was, that we might have sort of gotten too busy for. That's the success that Elul offers us. Once I define that me, Umal Hashem could do the rest, because that really always was in his control. The only part of my life that I ever really have to control is my relating to him, is my choice to love him back. Everything else, ladies, he's got my back. I have to share a funny image with you. I haven't even crystallized this 100%. It just happened Friday, but I wanted to put it out. I'm blessed with a wonderful gift of a pool that offers me a lot of sanity in life and blessing. So I went to clean it on Friday, not such a blessing. So I noticed a little mouse hanging on to one of the sides of the pool. It's all ragged, all wet. It looked like it was there all night. So I can't believe it, like this poor little thing. And I take the net to go and save it, right? To go and reach out and save it and throw it across the fence. And the mouse is obviously terrified of me. So it's running away from me, trying to swim away from me. But really, I was the one that was trying to save it. And once it realized that, or realized it had no choice, sort of gave up and sank into the net, and I put it over. And I was thinking that little mouse in some way is all of us. You know, in some ways, as much as we love Hashem and want Hashem, we're also afraid of him. What's he going to do to me? What's this year going to be? And we're coming toward him in Elul, but at the same time, we're not sure, like, what does he have in store? What's with this book? And am I going to be in the right book or the wrong book? And is he going to get me or not get me? And is he going to remember what I did, good, bad? So it says in Tehillim, Mincha elecha evrach. I'm running away from him. I'm running to him. I'm so confused. There's such a push and pull. But if I knew with clarity that it's my net, he's the one that wants more than anything for me to have that feeling of shalom, of shleimut, of goodness, of completion. I would just sort of, go in. I'm glad Michal likes that analogy because some people might have thought it was a little off. But the beauty of knowing that historically Hashem has proven himself as wanting the most wonderful life for me. It might be a process. I might not see it all right away, but I've got to believe that he loves me more than I love myself, that he knows what I want more than I really do. So let's go there. The goal is that by the end of Yom Kippur, we will fully be able to say, Hashem Hu Ha'elokim, those magical last 3 words of Yom Kippur. Hashem Hu Ha'elokim, the God that I associate with mercy, is the God, even in the times that I perceive as punitive. Hashem, the God that I associate with miracles, with what's beyond natural, Hu Ha'elokim, is the same God at those times that seem mundane. For me to be able to know that he's one, my perception of him may change, because the transparency that I see him through might be different based on what the world looks like right now. But that's not the bigger picture. That's not the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that God is holding a lot at once. He's holding the past, he's holding the future. I'm one blip of time. And what I see he does or doesn't do might have to do with what the past needs as rectification, might need to be laying the seeds and foundation for the future. But I know, ladies, I know that he's holding me. And where I am is always where I could connect to him. And if I gained that clarity, I really gained a successful understanding of what the new year ahead is and what it always could be. The rest is going to be icing. So this month of Elul was probably the most magical month in the calendar year. The days of Elul, as much as they're weekdays, as much as they are mundane, are the time when Hashem is quote unquote in the field and loving to be in the field and seeing us and hanging out with us and enjoying our day-to-day life and understanding that, seeing him in that field is really the most wonderful antidote to all of the issues in our lives. Just knowing that he's there. But what about my dreams and wishes? This all sounds really nice and flowery. But what about the stuff I really want? The stuff that it feels like I really need. And I've gone through one Rosh Hashanah after another, and I've put it out, and I've begged, and I've hoped, and I've connected, and I'm still stuck. Let's go there. Think of your last magic wand wish. And by that, I mean the wish that you thought, if this happens, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to feel good. If I get that degree, if I get that job, if I get that husband, if I get this blessing, if this material, whatever comes true. And just think of that last magic wand wish when you were 10 pounds less, or when you did have that much more in your bank account, or you felt that much healthier. Think of that last magic wand wish you had. Think of when you received it. Think of when you did have that going for you in life. And I'll bet at that time, you had a different magic wand wish. And that's all of us. We always will have that next magic wand wish, thinking that that next thing, or that next transition, or that next person who gets me like I want to be gotten, that'll get me the sense of peace and feeling whole again. And maybe it does, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Now, there was a restaurant that I really wanted to go to years ago. It had just opened up in the city. And I heard the food was amazing. And it was that next experience that was going to give me whatever and would be the perfect anniversary dinner. It was a French restaurant. And French people, I think the reason that French people are thin is because they eat everything, but in little portions. And they really enjoy it, right? Little portions. So we weren't really familiar with French eating, and too bad. So my husband and I go to this French restaurant, and it took a lot to get there. And by the time we made the reservation and we found the time and we found the parking, so we get there and we order, and they bring out these little plates of a tiny amount of food. And we thought that they were maybe like offering this entree. And my husband finishes his plate. Says, so when are we getting the meal? And the waiter says, well, that was the meal. We had no clue. So it was my magic wand wish. And I swallowed it, and I was waiting for the next thing. And I realized this is a lot like life. A lot like life. I want you to try something out, ladies, in the comfort of your own home. I want you to put your feet on the floor. Sink yourself into whatever chair you're in. Really let the chair hold you, just like a rag doll. Just sink into your chair. Wiggle your toes. Feel your seat and back against your chair. And take a really deep breath out. Always go out when you want to relax. Take a deep breath out. Let all the air out of you. Hold it there till you can't hold it anymore. And then take a deep breath in. While you're breathing, while you're just totally sitting in that chair, I want you to just notice what you feel like inside, how your breath could really just slow down and relax any part of your body. I could send that breath even to my heart and let it slow down a little bit. I could notice where I'm tight and loosen it up a little bit. Just appreciate the fact that your breath could really change where you are and how you feel. Wiggle your fingers and feel the magic of them, of all the things that they could do today. Wiggle your toes and think of where they could take you and where they've taken you for a lot of years. Think of something about the colors or the outside that you see through the window and just the gift of that. And when you've done that, now bring yourself to another thought. Think of how right now where you are, Hashem is holding you. And he's rocking you and saying, I got it. I got it. I got your back. You're going to be okay. Think of something that you're afraid of about the coming year. And imagine him reassuring you that he really, really knows. And that there really, really is a plan. And that none of it has meant that he hasn't loved you. That as much as it's hard and as much as you hope, don't ever think that that's an indication of him not knowing or not being involved or not caring about it as deeply as you do, if not more. Remember, while he's holding you, that is your reality all the time, every second of every day. Kol haneshama, every part of my soul and its experiences, milashon neshima, every breath, tahalelka, is about me connecting to him and seeing that beauty and knowing that that's where I am. That right here, right now, without proving it from the past or hoping for it in the future, I have the life that I'm supposed to be living. That no moment of my life is incidental or in the way of the life that I'm supposed to have. Now you're getting a sense of Ani. That's your truest self. Lidodi, vidodi li, and he's holding you. You got Elul down. So ladies, let's go to a place of a reminder. What is life? Because we are all coming to shul next week and begging for another year of it. What is life? What do we even want? What's the definition of the life that I'm hoping for so much? Because a lot of us know what we don't want life to be. What do we want life to be? And there are a lot of different definitions out there of life. There could be a biologist giving one definition. There could be Jack Kevorkian giving another definition. What's our definition? And the most beautiful definition of life that I've heard comes from Rav Shimshon Pincus, who says that life is having the ability to make choices and changes to bring us closer to our godly potential. That is life. That is life. Life the connection to me becoming the self that Hashem knew that I could be, that he gave me the choice to access or to choose to disconnect from. So with that definition, I could understand that I might have a very successful life, even though my life doesn't look the way I'd like it to. That a good life is a life where I'm cognizant of that connection. A failed life is a life where I choose a ventilator. I choose to plug into something else that gives me my energy or my hope or etc. That whatever I think my next magic wand wish needs to be. I want to share a story. And this story gave me just a real Kodak moment that I brought through life. When my oldest two kids were little, this was a lot of years ago, they really wanted a dog. They really wanted a dog. And truth be told, I always wanted a dog. The problem is my husband didn't want a dog, so we had to choose between a dog and my husband. So Baruch Hashem, we kept him. But how could I say no to these two cute kids when I wanted it too? So I said, boys, I know you want a dog, but it's not like we're not going to get something. We are going to get a pet. We're going to get a goldfish. And that was like a really bad parenting move. So we got this goldfish. Goldfish are not meant to live past 2 weeks before they get really boring. I mean, like nobody wants to take care of a goldfish beyond 2 weeks. And this goldfish was like on steroids. It was months and months and nobody wanted to take care of this goldfish. It was really tired very fast. So one night I'm doing the dishes downstairs and I hear my 5-year-old upstairs in the bathroom and he says, Mommy, the goldfish, it has personality. Come see. So he was supposed to be cleaning it. I go and I see him holding the goldfish and he says, look, he's dancing, he's dancing. So before I had a chance to really explain what was going on, that goldfish became part of our septic system, no more goldfish. Fast forward 13 years and he was now 18 and he was learning in a beautiful yeshiva in a dorm, and his dorm room overlooked a really lovely park in New York. And it was before Rosh Hashanah. And he called me up and he says, Ma, you don't know what it's like in yeshiva. It's amazing. It's like electric. All the boys running around and apologizing and forgiving and davening and mikvah and calling their parents. And it's like, and Ma, I'm looking out of the window into that park. It's a Friday in the city. And there's a lot of kids our age. And we're in New York, Mom. I'm sure half of them are Jews. And I'm thinking of that fish. I said, what fish? He says, Ma, that fish, that was not your best parenting move. Remember the dog, the fish, it was ridiculous. But he said, you remember when I thought it was dancing and it was really gasping for air because I took it out of where it belonged. He says, I know they look like they're partying. They're starting to dance and they got all the food and the music, but I feel so sorry because they don't know what tonight is. And I wish that they had the air of Rosh Hashanah. All of us, we have a lot of distractions and our thoughts about what we have to have in life and what we wish it would look like. We definitely have thoughts now that we never even knew we had. Whoever imagined the science fiction life that we've been living the last couple of years, the extremes that we've been exposed to. But ladies, what we really want is to keep breathing through it. We want to keep breathing through it. We want another year. And I want to leave you with this most powerful thought. As scared as you are of which book you'll be put in, you don't have to worry. Because the Nesivo Shalom says, Hashem only wants connection. Life is the essence of Hashem. At the center of the word Chayim is Yud Yud. That is Him. Hashem is always waiting for us, keeping the soup warm. He just wants us to feel the same. And He wants us to be honest about that. Who do you want to be? I want to honor your wish. So here I have 2 books. Here's the book of life, that's connection with me. Here's the book of death, if you choose to disconnect. Here, honey, here's the pencil. It's Rosh Hashanah. You tell me which book you want to be in, and I'm with you. Ani Lidodi, if you choose the one with me in it, I'm yours. I always have been. But be real. Comes Yom Kippur, here's a pen. You want to make a change, you want to make a correction. You even have through Sukkot, till Shmini Atzeres. But says the Nesivo Shalom, we have the pencil in our hands. Hashem is just holding the books open for us to decide on. So I wish you the power of choices that feel right and eternal and true. The power of remembering your neshama in creating a year that Hashem is always ready to give us if we just want Him back enough.